Good evening, everyone. The regular meeting of the Gary Redevelopment Commission is now called to order. Roll call. That'd be your part.
Commissioner Clemens?
Here.
Commissioner Stalling?
Present.
Commissioner Washington?
Present.
Commissioner Rogie?
Here.
And School Representative Mr. Johnson. Let the record show that Commissioner Chambers is not present for this meeting.
Okay. Acceptance of the meeting agenda for September 4th, 2024. Is there a motion?
So move. Second.
Moved in second, and roll call.
Commissioner Clemens?
Here. Yes.
Roll call. Stalling?
Yes.
Commissioner Washington?
Yes.
And President Rogie?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Certification of record of the executive session held before this meeting. I hereby certify that nothing has been discussed in the executive session held immediately before this open meeting except those items specified and listed in the notice. And the board's pleasure.
I move for the certification of record of the executive session held before this meeting.
So move.
Moved in second, and roll call.
Commissioner Clemens?
Yes.
Commissioner Stalling?
Yes.
Commissioner Washington?
Yes.
And President Rogie?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Acceptance of the minutes from the meeting held on August 21st, 2024. And a motion?
So move.
Thank you.
Second.
Moved in second, and roll call.
Commissioner Clemens?
Yes.
Commissioner Stalling?
Yes.
Commissioner Washington?
Yes.
And President Rogie?
Yes.
Motion passes.
And public comment on agenda items only. Public comment, go ahead.
Thank you. Good evening, commissioners. I hope you had a great, wonderful weekend. I certainly tried. However, a couple of things I just want to acknowledge of on the agenda today. But before that, I just want to make a public acknowledgement. If the commission board here has received the email that I sent out, I thank the ones who corresponded me back to and let me know it was. However, getting back to the first item, the church that we have up on the agenda today, asking the commission to approve $160,000 for something I still got to scratch my head at. How could you spend $160,000 on a historian church, which the precedent of the historian landmark, you'd have to go through the proper channels. And that was not even vetted for this to even be on the table, because I checked it out myself. And every time I come to this board with a fact, I have already checked it and should have been checked before. And secondly, why would you waste $160,000 to this school who's already rejected and said to this commission that we really didn't need to hire them because they had enough plans that has been sitting in the basement of this building for some time? Thirdly, how and where are you going to get the money to fix this historian landmark? I just don't get it. That's all I have to say.
Sure, we have a, oh, you know what? Now, if you're here for Side Lot, if I call your name, Leon Hughes and Janice Hopkins, you're both here for Side Lots? Okay, got it. Okay, we'll let you speak during the presentation portion. Okay, so yeah, that would be it for the public comment.
Okay. Okay, well, we're up to that point now. Presentations on the agenda. My Gary, my lot petitions.
So I'm going to ask everyone that is here present for our commission meeting. Hello, I want you to have an opportunity to be able to speak and share what your current property address is, and just give us, a 2-minute explanation of your history of the property, your history in Gary as a homeowner. We want to provide everyone that's looking for an opportunity who are eligible for a site lot to be able to speak before the public before we vote. So, in no particular order. I'm just going to go ahead with Ms. Hopkins. Okay. Yeah, yep. That's all right. Yep, state your name, current address, and just a brief history of yourself and the property.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Janice Hopkins, and I live at 709 Fillmore Street, Gary, Indiana. I've been living there 40 years. My husband and I, he was there before me, so he's there for a long time. The side lot had a home situated on it. It burned down maybe about 30 years ago. So my husband and I have been taking care of the lot because we want to keep the neighborhood looking nice as well. So we were paying, so my property, and then this long lot, and then the back. So what my husband was doing, we didn't pay. He passed in 2018, so I've been maintaining, and as you know, the cost of doing anything now is much higher. It's getting a little hard. I retired last year, August the 18th, as a matter of fact. So it's getting a little hard, and then all the property I see is being bought up. I didn't want that lot bought up because I do want to continue to maintain it. That way I know that it will look nice at all times. And secondly, I may want to expand the garage because I need some storage space. Then now I have a request. So I've been struggling because now I receive Social Security benefits, and so I'm paying at least $70, $80 every 2 weeks to keep it, maintain the lot. So I was wondering if I can have an abatement for at least 5 years before it goes on the tax roll, but it be in my name. So I spend a lot of money keeping up y'all property.
All right. Any questions for Ms. Hopkins?
That's it?
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Ms. Hopkins. Okay. And let's see. Next that I had on the list here is Mr. Leon Hughes. You can go up to the podium, please.
How's everybody doing? Make this real quick. I'm on my way. Finna get to Ford Motor Company, 1061 Harrison Street. Bought the property 4 years ago. A lot of dumping over there, exclusive dumping, nothing but dumping. Cleaned the property off. Cleaned the lot that I'm requiring about off with trees. Still had to do, still been dealing with pictures now with the dumping over there. Asked Gary 4 years ago to give me a dumpster and the adjacent lot to me with a home on it. I would clean it up, pay for the guys to come and help me clean it up. Never done. Just here for the lot. I need to get out of here. I need to go to work. And that's it.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Hughes.
Am I good? Can I go?
Yeah. Were there any other questions from the commissions before?
Anything you
we
need,
dismiss
you guys can get
Okay.
it.
All right. Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Hughes. I appreciate it. Okay. Yep. Okay. All right. Let's see. And do we have anyone else in the audience that was here to discuss a site lot opportunity? Okay. All right. Okay. Sure. Go ahead.
Hello, my name is Frances Bills, and I was here because I've been living at 825 Maryland for 40 years, and in those 40 years, I have kept a side lot cleaned until someone brought it. When they brought it, they kept it cleaned. When they passed away, I assumed the responsibility again. I also assumed responsibility of cutting lots behind my house on Virginia Street because the city is supposed to come out and cut them, but they don't come out and cut them all the time. And as far as this year is concerned, the city only cut those lots behind me last week. So it is expensive trying to keep up land around your house, you know. And I want to know if we can get help, you know. And then there's dumping. You know, you have people who have the apartment building. They have a dumpster this little. So when people move out, they throw all kind of stuff in the alley, across the alley, in the garage. I need help. But I can't get the city to come forward to clean that stuff out, you know. I've been calling since May. How do I get help? Can anybody tell me? But that's my story. Have a good one.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right, and then you go ahead and speak.
Good evening. My name is Shirley Griffin, and I live at 5311 East 13th Avenue, Gary, 4603. And I'm interested in the side lot at 5319, which is next door to me. I've been taking care of that lot since I've been living there, and that's been for 38 years. We finally got the house torn down when my kids was really small, because all of a sudden it was dogs. Wild dogs used to be in there. And when I come out of the house, they all just jump out. So the city finally tore the house down, but then nobody ever maintained it. So I always mowed the yard, and that's what I've been doing. And so I'm interested in it now because, as you see, I have a disabled child now, and she stays in the house all the time. So I want to take that lot and probably blacktop it, and, you know, we can sit out there, we can use our fire pit, and we don't have to just sit in the house all the time. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay. All right. And is there anyone else here to speak about or on behalf of a side lot opportunity? Okay. Awesome. All right. So first off, I want to thank everyone here seeking this opportunity, understanding that this is very important for our administration to ensure that, A, we provide generational wealth to our residents, and also understand the burden of maintaining property that may not be yours, right? I can speak on behalf of at least for redevelopment. We're definitely going to be better at maintaining our properties and developing a process. But we also understand that there are developers and there are people that see value in our city. And the concern is that we want to make sure that our residents who've been here through it all, that you have generational wealth that you can pass down to your relatives and descendants and be a part of Gary's growth and resurgence. So I'm very grateful and very happy to be able to meet you in person and have my commission be able to meet you so we can vote on behalf of allowing you to have these properties you've already maintained. And then, you know, I'll ask my executive assistant to talk about, you know, what's been happening in the past with your burdens or areas that are dumping in your block, so we have better focus with code enforcement and general services to make sure that, you know, everyone is aware. Highly recommend, this is a 311 plug. Our 311 app, you know, was updated, and you can report those items through 311. They are reviewed and they are looked at by the department heads. In the past, we've had challenges in the previous administration, but understand now with our chief operations officer and our director of constituent services, that is reviewed and discussed daily. So definitely recommend it if you are experiencing issues with dumping or illegal activity, that you report that in the 311 app, and it's available on the App Store and on Google Play. But definitely appreciate you being here, and I'm looking forward for our commission to be able to vote on your behalf to be able to own these properties outright. Appreciate it. Oh. So let's, if you have time, let's coordinate and get more detail after the meeting. but we're going to run through the business and so we can vote. So I'm going to go ahead, George, and continue on with our business. So let's see. So we're going to continue on with our first resolution, which is.
Yeah, do you want to skip down to 13 or 7507?
If it's cleaner that way, let's go through the order of business. So we allow the public to be able to comment in their presentation section. We'll move forward with the order of business 7506, and we'll continue on with the side lots with 7507. So yeah, I won't confuse the process. So we'll move forward with 7506.
7506. 7506. A resolution of the City of Gary Redevelopment Commission awarding property located at 762 to 787. Let me do it again. 762 to 78 Massachusetts Street, and authorizing a purchase agreement between what is it? Yeah.
Yep, so we received one proposal for Resolution 7506. This is a resolution, the City of Gary Redevelopment Commission awarding a property located at 762 through 78 Massachusetts Street and authorizing the purchase agreement between BWI and the Redevelopment Commission on August 2024. The City of Gary Redevelopment Department caused to publish requests for proposals in the newspaper for the general circulation in Lake County, Indiana, for the development of the property commonly referred to as 762 through 78 Massachusetts Street. I'm asking for the approval of BWI, who was the only bidder on 762 through 78 Massachusetts Street, with a bid amount of the minimum bid was $1,000, to which they've responded to accordingly. And I'm asking for a vote on that resolution, President Rogie.
Okay. Well, there you have it, Commissioners.
I move for the passage of resolution number 7506.
Second.
Moved and second. Any discussion? No discussion, then roll call.
Commissioner Clemens,
Abstention.
Commissioner Stalling,
Yes.
Commissioner Washington,
Abstention.
Commissioner Rogie.
Yes?
The vote is 2 yes, 2 abstention.
So, Attorney Jenkins, are you going to call it as?
With two votes for yes, 2 abstentions, the motion does not pass. We'll potentially bring this item back before our board at the next meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. President.
Go ahead.
Will this need to go back out for bid? Okay.
No, it will not need to go back out for bid. We can just bring this item back to reconsider at the next meeting.
Okay.
We only received the one proposal. The original bidding period closed, but, we can just, it's essentially a negotiation period where we cannot sell at less than the minimum price that we were asking for, so.
Okay. All right, now we can go to request for approval of resolution number 7507, a resolution of the City of Gary Redevelopment Commission authorizing and awarding real property from the City of Gary Redevelopment Commission to private owners, homeowners, for the City of Gary Side Lot Program. Mr. Harris, you can.
Thank you, President Rogie. This is a resolution for the City of Gary, Department of Redevelopment, authorizing the awarding and sale of the property of the City of Gary Redevelopment Commission to private homeowners for the City of Gary Side Lot Program. The City of Gary Redevelopment Commission, Gary, Indiana, is the record owner of certain properties located in Gary, Indiana, Lake County, more particularly as those as described in Exhibit A, to which I have the petitioners that are here present requesting the opportunity to acquire 829 Maryland Street, 701 Fillmore Street, 1065 Harrison Street, and 5319 East 13th Avenue. The state of Indiana provides transfer of sale of real property between government entities and private entities upon terms and conditions agreed upon by the entities. And the subject properties are located in the City of Gary Redevelopment Commission's areas of redevelopment. The City of Gary Redevelopment Commission has performed all requisite inspections and finds the parcels acceptable for disposal to these homeowners in the Gary Site Lot Program.
Okay.
Mr. President,
Yes.
I move for the resolution of 7507.
Second.
Moved and second. Any discussion? And roll call.
Commissioner Clemens.
Yes.
Commissioner Stalling.
Yes.
Commissioner Washington.
Yes.
President Rogie.
Yes.
With 4 ayes, the motion carries.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Okay. A request for approval and resolution number 7508, a resolution approving and authorizing an amendment to a service contract with Republic Services doing business as Allied Waste. Mr. Harris.
Thank you, President Rogie. Resolution 7508 is a resolution approving and authorizing an amendment to the services contract with Republic Services doing business as Allied Waste, whereas the board is the redevelopment department of the City of Gary, and the Redevelopment Commission has approved previously a term extension for services for the contractor, Republic Services and Allied Waste. There has been a change to the pricing for the service contract from $52.50 to $65 per ton, which must be amended with the contract in addition to the previously termed approved extension that our commission had provided Republic. Understand that we cannot dispose of any in-house demolition waste until this resolution is approved. We have active sites that need attention. So I wanted to provide a general overview there.
Okay.
Mr. President, I move for the passage of resolution number 7508.
Thank you.
Second.
It's been moved and second. And roll call.
Commissioner Clemens.
Yes.
Commissioner Stalling.
Yes.
Commissioner Washington.
Yes.
President Rogie.
Yes, yes,
With 4
yes.
ayes, the motion carries.
Thank you. That's good. Okay. A request for approval of resolution number 7510, a resolution of the City of Gary Redevelopment Commission acknowledging the termination of the agreement of the purchase and the sale between the Commission and Bradford Equities 2 LLC for the South Gleason Golf Course, Gilroy Stadium. Mr. Harris.
Thank you, President Rogie. Resolution 7510 is a resolution of the City of Gary Redevelopment Commission acknowledging the termination of the agreement of the purchase and sale between the Commission and Bradford Equities 2 LLC for South Gleason Golf Course and Gilroy Stadium. The Board of Redevelopment, the Redevelopment Commission has previously approved an agreement for the purchase and sale with Bradford Equities 2 LLC for Gleason Golf Course, Gilroy Stadium on September 2020. At the time of the execution of the agreement, there was a $50,000 earnest money that was held in escrow toward the purchase price in the event, and toward the purchase price. In any event that the sale did not move forward, the intention was to return that earnest money upon termination of the agreement by the purchaser. The final purchase property was contingent on several circumstances. However, pursuant to the agreement, the parties have decided to terminate their relationship and return, and we, as the commission, need to return the money held in escrow to the purchaser. So, again, in the past, when we entered into this agreement, the intention was to develop it in a way that is not in alignment with where we decide to take the city. Gilroy, the stadium, and the Gleason Golf Course is an asset to the city, and it's our business to amicably walk away from this development deal, and we can repurpose and redevelop elsewhere that's more meaningful. But it's definitely the intention and the purpose of Glen Park, Gilroy Stadium, and the golf course is an asset to the 6th District and Glen Park as a whole. And the intention is to be able to move forward in a new direction. President Rogi.
Commissioners,
Mr. President, I move for the passage of resolution number 7510.
is there a second?
Second.
Good. Moving to second. Any discussion? Okay, roll call.
Commissioner Clemens.
Yes.
Commissioner Stalling.
Yes.
Commissioner Washington.
Yes.
And President Rogi.
Yes.
The motion passes.
Okay. Resolution for approval of resolution number 7511, a resolution of the City of Gary Redevelopment Commission approving and authorizing the execution of a professional services contract with Bailey Edward to develop designs for the stabilization of Gary Methodist Church. Mr. Harris.
Thank you, President Rogi. Resolution 7511 is a resolution with the City of Gary Redevelopment Commission approving and authorizing the execution of a professional service contract with Bailey Edwards to develop designs for stabilization of City Methodist Church. The Gary Redevelopment Commission has a working relationship with the Notre Dame School of Architecture. During our charrette, we've received feedback about the ability to be able to salvage the bell tower of City Methodist Church. Understanding that in 2018, Bailey Edwards was a contractor that our commission had approved an effort to study the church at that time to understand how we could develop a ruined garden opportunity and creating a sense of place for downtown. That scope has then changed. We have funding from Senate Bill 434 to demolish the structure in its entirety. But we see that there's an opportunity, understanding that there are resources available to help the City of Gary be able to create a unique sense of place with salvaging the bell tower and developing a very unique park that would be an attraction that would underlie and share our city's history for future generations. The church, just to give some history for those who aren't from Gary, because I'm a history buff, but to give some history about it, the building was built in 1926. It served as various functions as an athletic center, as a auditorium. There's a 1,500 seat auditorium within that space. There were offices in that space. Actually, Indiana University Northwest got its start within that space initially. But the building was vacated in the 1970s. When the building was vacated in the 1970s, nothing had really materialized. Then in 1997, we had a very devastating fire here in downtown Gary that started at the Goldblatt site. For those of you who remember, that was on the west side of Broadway. Those embers had blown across Broadway and caught fire to the roof and the structure of City Methodist Church, which rapidly decayed the structure from 1997 henceforward. That's why, you know, the condition of the church is in the way that it is currently. But now we have an opportunity to really tell our story with the church and creating a unique sense of place. Having an opportunity to have a ruin garden, to tell, again, like almost like in European cities in World War II, there's a story to be told about the economic isolation that we've had in the downtown core and our city in general. And with this opportunity with Bailey Edwards, because they've already initially studied the site, that now that we want to save just the bell tower and not so much more of the structure like what we wanted to in 2018, they have the most information about how we can do that. Understand also that the City of Gary and our Redevelopment Commission in the past, we received grant funding from the Knight Foundation in effort to study this site. And this is an opportunity where that funding was still with us, still with our commission. We can't use it for anything else beyond figuring out how we could help salvage City Methodist Church and create a unique sense of place. So we're honoring the grant that was provided to us several years ago, and we're able to now execute on it based on the resources that we have with Senate Bill 434 and potential other resources to help us create a sense of place in downtown Gary. So I wanted to be able to give some more context to the community about why we're moving forward with Bailey Edwards is because we already had a relationship with Bailey Edwards as a commission. We've had that information, but now that the scope has narrowed itself even further, that we still need their support. And being that they have most of the information already, it can help us move forward in the process of being able to secure this area that's posing a threat to the school across the street. We just want to be sure that we can demolish that expeditiously, the structure that we want to remove, and salvage the bell tower as soon as we can. And this engineering study is going to allow us to be able to do that. But so it's two-pronged to allow us to demolish the structure and remove a hazard across the street from an elementary school that belongs to our commission. And then it's an opportunity to be able to understand how we can salvage that space with additional resources that want to support the City of Gary and downtown. And the contract is for $112,500.
Commissioners, is there a motion?
Well, I got a question first.
Go ahead.
This 112, does it come out of the redevelopment budget or is it part of a grant?
It's a part of the grant that was already awarded to our commission. So we have the funding for it. We just never acted on it in the past.
So what grant was it?
Yeah.
This was a grant from the Knight Foundation.
How long ago?
This was in 2018.
I thought that, was that the 165,000 that was in the legacy fund?
Correct.
That's gone.
So not according to
Who?
conversation that I've had with that team.
What was the amount that was paid in 2018?
I'd have to research and get back to you on that exact amount.
Mr. President,
Sir.
I'd like to make a motion that we table Resolution 7511 till next meeting.
Okay, there's a motion to table. Second. And there's a second to that. Any other discussion? Then let's vote. Roll call.
Commissioner Clemens?
Yes.
Commissioner Stalling?
Yes.
Commissioner Washington?
Yes.
And President Rogie?
Yes.
The motion to table passes.
Okay. Director's comments?
Sure. Again, I just want to thank all of the residents that are here to be able to take a part of the site lot program. We definitely encourage you that if you also live adjacent to a city lot, if you've not applied already, please reach out to our office so we can determine your eligibility. And we can move forward and be able to allow you to grow your property and participate in the generational wealth of the city. We know that everyone's looking at the city when it comes to opportunity. So understanding that your property is valuable, I understand that you're probably getting phone calls from robocalls asking you about your property and whether you want to sell. That's for a reason. That's because our city is valuable, and there might be social media ads or YouTube videos you see about kind of stifling that, but in the same time, you have phone calls asking about you selling your property. So just understand that your property is valuable. The city of Gary is valuable. And we definitely want to help you be able to be a part of that growth and that regeneration of our city. Understanding that things are positively moving forward with our opportunities when it comes to funding opportunities for our city and our downtown. And we're just moving forward with that momentum. And we're very excited to be able to, be here in our commission to be able to execute on behalf of the mayor, because that's ultimately what we're here for. And when it comes to upcoming opportunities, understand that people ask me often, where are we headed as a city? What are our focus areas? Understand that the transit development districts are very important to us in concentrating development, whether that be in the Gary Metro TDD or the Miller TDD. You can find all of that online. That's a general roadmap, but also understand that US 20 it has a lot of momentum as well, and it's kind of organic momentum. Our commission has already been a part of that process. When it comes to the opportunities that exist, there's going to be more opportunity on US 20 that we're going to be discussing as a commission and before the public. So we're very excited about that, and just understand that we have a mayor that's garnered a lot of positive resources and opportunity for us, and we're here to execute on that mission. And yeah, that's all I have to say. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Harris. Commissioners, any comments?
Mr. President.
Sir.
I know we want to have partnerships with developers and people in our community. For public purposes, can the administration for the Redevelopment Commission explain what is the purpose of an MOU, a memorandum of understanding with someone who would like to do business with the Department of Redevelopment?
Okay, I can answer that. So an MOA, initially, it's an opportunity to build a relationship or share resources, or depending on the type of MOA that we have. For example, we have MOA with organizations such as the Gary Housing Authority, that we share resources and we share direction in how we want to redevelop the city. Then we have an opportunity for MOAs with community development organizations that, by state statute, gives us special power and ability to dispose of property much easier than the typical process of a developer that just wants property. If you're an official community development corporation, there's an opportunity that we can dispose of property with less steps. So that MOA is an opportunity to show that we want to work in good faith in redeveloping, whether it be a particular neighborhood within the city or the city as a whole, that there's goodwill to be able to execute upon that with a track record of having that experience in the city. We've, to date, since my tenure, we've had 2 MOAs, that being with Faith CDC and Bolton CDC. Both of these CDCs are in the Emerson neighborhood, which is a part of the Transit Development District that we want to focus on development opportunities. And what it shows for the organization, especially those who are looking to fund opportunities for that work in that neighborhood, it shows that there's a relationship and helps them one step further in getting funding to be able to help execute their project. But ideally, we want to make sure that when it comes to MOAs in the future, that whoever we enter into an MOA with, has a track record and experience, which we know both, Faith and Bolton have track records of being able to develop in their own right. And we have that ability to be able to formalize that relationship. There's nothing that we obligate councilmen when we have an MOA. There's no property that we obligate to anyone when we have an MOA. It's just a good faith effort to show that, we're working collectively and collaboratively to redevelop the city. And because of the special powers that we have as a redevelopment commission by state statute, and the ability to dispose of property much easier than the traditional way, the traditional route, that's really the significance, is being able to help give that organization more credibility to be able to execute and develop in the city. And when it comes to organizational MOAs like GHA, we share resources. So if there's resources that the GHA has when it comes to tools that we could leverage in understanding data points, because we have an MOA, they'll be able to just allow us to have access to that information. So it's just an open relationship that we're working together.
Thank you. Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion that the Redevelopment Commission allow Mr. Harris, our legal counsel, our president and vice president, to begin having a conversation with Tony Glenn regarding the memorandum of understanding with the Redevelopment Commission. And then you all can report your findings back to us.
I have a question before that. Can I have a question? Can you explain to us the difference, because there's a difference between an MOA and an MOU. So can you make it clear what an MOU versus an MOA, the difference between those?
Sure. So the MOU is more so, I mean, that's, if we have an MOU with an entity, it's really, we're working in tandem doing business. And when I mean business, I guess if there's a particular deal that we're obligated with making commitments, that entity is obligated in making commitments, there's a joint, specific, itemized line item of, you know, this entity is responsible for this. The Redevelopment Commission is responsible for doing X. It's more so a project that you're actually executing when you have an MOU. Now, MOA, yeah, and Attorney Jenkins is anxious to kind of just chime in there. But MOA, what we've been doing as MOA is having just a good faith opportunity to be able to share that we're working in general of redeveloping a city, but not anything specifically in a specific project.
Right. So also to answer your question, right, the difference can be slightly technical, and sometimes the same word is used interchangeably. Realistically, it depends on what the terms are. So an MOU is technically a lesser powerful entity, but depending on how an MOA is read, you know, it can be considered an MOA. MOA is like an actual agreement that has certain obligations. An MOU is less powerful than that. It is kind of, it's vague. It expresses an intent to have a relationship, but there's nothing actually committed. So even in our case, like, you know, the technical, whether it counts as an MOA versus an MOU is, it could be tedious from a legal perspective, but like realistically, we're not committing ourselves to anything. It's just establishing a relationship where where we have this good faith effort to work with them, but nothing is actually committed, no property is committed, and things like that.
And that's what MOU?
Right, like the MOU is technically that, but even though we have something that's called an MOA right now, like it's probably better for it to be called an MOU. It's like like based on what's committed, it's really not that powerful at this point.
Okay. Well, Mr. President, my motion is still on the table for the Redevelopment Commission to allow our redevelopment director, our attorney, our president and vice president to discuss with Tony Glenn the possibilities and structure of an MOU with the Redevelopment Commission.
Yeah, it's a motion,
I second the motion.
and there's a second, and there's a roll call.
Commissioner Clemens. Yes. Commissioner Stalling.
Yes.
Commissioner Washington.
Yes.
And President Rogie.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay.
So we'll follow up with you to come in to just, you know, we'll execute a deed, but we'll schedule that with the executive assistant, Mark, and we'll follow up with you, contact you about when we can come in for an appointment for that. And then that's when you'll, you know, finish up that process. All right, thank you very much for attending.
Great rest of the day.
You too.
Okay, now, school board.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just want to say, you know, school has been in for about 3 weeks now with Gary Community School Corporation, and I'm proud to say that not only is enrollment up, but attendance is up as well. You know, again, we're looking to become the school of choice in the city of Gary, and that's what we're working toward. Also, we had our first home football game last week. We defeated East Chicago Central. I'm gonna say 48-18, and so that was a good thing. We did have a young man get hurt who ended up being taken off the field by ambulance and had to have surgery. So please keep him and his family in your prayers. And we have a home football game the next 2 Fridays, this Friday and next Friday. So come on out and cheer on the West Side Cougars. I know that's hard for some of you. But we all have to come together. So definitely come on out and support. And also, Councilman Dwayne Williams is going to be having a 6th District Community Forum on Monday, September 16th at 6 p.m. And one of the speakers is a Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Yvonne Stokes. And so she and I will be there that evening. So if you have any questions about schools, come on out. Or if you just want to meet the new superintendent, it'd be a good opportunity to do so.
I got a question. Are you all willing to give redevelopment any other schools that could be of use to the Redevelopment Commission to build for economic development purposes?
Well, that's a very good question, and we actually are open to that because we have a place where eventually we like to build a new high school, and the city owns that property, so we can work some things out.
Mr. President,
Yes,
I move for the passage, I move for the motion of adjournment.
good.
So moved.
And there's a second, so roll call.
Commissioner Clemens?
Yes.
Commissioner Stalling? Yes. Commissioner Washington?
Yes.
And President Rogie?
And me, yes.
Motion passes, meeting adjourned.